Hey, Catherine, how you doing? Let's go ahead and take a look at your work. You've got the front and the back, so let's go ahead and take a look at the front of the poster. Now, I know you've been kind of going back and forth, um, and I'll tell you what I'm getting out of this. Okay, first of all, typographically, I think you're pretty well. You have pretty good kerning here. I think this can be adjusted, definitely. Both of these, uh, uh, first and last name, can be adjusted, and then Tree Warrior definitely needs to be adjusted in terms of kerning. Um, as far as conceptually, it's a good idea to apply this tree growth, right, incorporated right into her name. The issue I'm having is twofold. Number one, the typeface itself, the illustration itself of the tree that's doing visual substitution for the eye is really thin. See how thin the stroke is? I would find an illustration that at least got the same stroke width as, more that, or embellish this to include the same stroke width or something similar. And that will create harmony between the substituted illustration for the letter form. So again, in summary there, just something a little thicker. You want to get as close to the thickness of the vertical strokes of this typeface as possible, at least at the bottom of the tree. The next thing is that this tree doesn't look well. I mean, you've got all these kind of dangling branches. This one just kind of dangling down. This tree looks like it's dying, and I'm just being honest with you. I think it's just sending a wrong connotative message. I do. This tree doesn't look healthy and robust like we would expect, right? So I would definitely maybe adjust that. Okay, let's go ahead and jump over to the back of the poster. We got some issues again with the back of the poster. So number one, this piece is just begging for color. The next thing is that your type isn't set here. So the rags are really bad. Additionally, you've got these huge gaps. Right here, this word right here is just split right in the middle, and the rest of the word comes off to the next line. So I'm not really understanding the typeset here, but I can say that it's in dire need of adjustment. And I'm not trying to be discouraging. I'm trying to be nurturing as possible. But let's get in here and adjust this type. So let me see. Also, we're going to be looking for the following in your typeset: adjusted regs, use of small caps as opposed to all caps where applicable, use of old style numerals or a reduction in scale where applicable, correct use of a dash, M dash, and N dash, correct use of italics, correct use of optimal character count per line of type, use of superscript where appropriate. There's an example. Actually, 70s, no, I don't think that would be superscript. It would be like seventh, TH, that would be superscript. I don't know if we have any examples there. Hanging punctuation, and here's an example right there. That quote needs to be hung into the margin. And then orphans and widows, which I don't see. I see some widows here, technically. We'll talk about that in a second. So the type definitely needs to be set. It's a reverse type, which means I would definitely increase the tracking. In a perfect world, if you're going to reverse type, you might consider using a sans serif typeface. They're always going to be more legible when reversed. If you are going to use a serif typeface, definitely increase the tracking. If you're using a sans serif, anytime you use reverse type, you want to increase the tracking to increase readability and legibility of the type. So keep that in mind. Okay. Conceptually. Oh, by the way, I wouldn't include the tagline, the byline, the date, or the resource. That's a given. So we're going to take some liberties as far as the leeway education gives us, and we will. I don't recommend including the source, the date, or the byline. Conceptually, I think one of the problems I'm seeing with the timeline is you've got the timeline with these trees, right? And that indicates, I think that's a good tie between her accolades and the depiction of the trees. Now, the problem is that these trees are not very similar at all to the trees set up on the front. So again, we're just missing an opportunity to establish good harmony therein. So I think one of the issues is that you have these trees and you're forcing type into this predefined area, and you can tell it looks squished. This type looks like it doesn't have a good relationship with the unity of the composition. It doesn't have a relationship with infinity, so to speak. And we are talking about this kind of relationship with infinity as we speak about trees, right? So to confine the type within the trees to me is a little antithetical to your concept. Plus, it forces the type to be confined in these shapes, and it's restraining. And I think that again sends a little bit of a compromised conceptual message in terms of connotation. Okay, so I would rethink the timeline. Good use of old style numerals there, but don't forget we need to use the same in the body copy. You want to avoid this stacking words. You want to avoid words on a line alone, even in a little tiny entry like this. You don't want to have words that are on lines alone. So you want to reconfigure this so it's a little bit easier to read. Okay. Other than that, I think that we're making progress. If you have any questions at all, I'm here and I'm ready, and I'm ready to make any clarifications, provide any clarifications. Right down here, it looks like there's an extra letter down there. That's kind of unusual. I just noticed that. I'm not really sure what that is. At any rate, yeah. So questions, comments, concerns, please let me know, and I'll go ahead and make any necessary clarifications. Great. Thank you very much for sharing.